All right, welcome back, everybody, to The Hill as we are coming at you live once again here on The Howl for this year's second learning exhibition here at the Bodman. So we did this a little bit earlier this year where we went around and everyone introduced their class and everything and pretty much did some talking about what they were learning in class and what the specific skills for that class was and what the course requirements were. So I'm back here today. I'm Nora Sanders. Camera lady Noelle Braithwood behind the camera today. And we will be doing this as we did once again in the fall, so thank you. Alright, so for our first exhibit, I am here with the Juxtapose Club here, which is a writing club here on the Hill that lets young and aspiring authors publish their short stories and poems and other works of literature to the Hill. So I'm here with...
I'm Sarah. I'm Nora. Haley.
All right, I'm here with these three, and can you? Nora, you seem to have everything held down. Can you tell us what this club's all about?
So Juxtapose is our literary magazine for Kents Hill, and it allows students and other members of the community to publish poems, short fiction, things like that, even art. So if you have pictures of your art, and so it's basically an outlet for students and faculty members to write about anything really. Sometimes we have like themed publications. Sometimes we just do free range. Right now we're doing a free range publication for the community. So if you'd like to submit something, please feel free.
That sounds all good. As I know, Mr. Adam Shabbat, who isn't here, he runs the club, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Adam Shabbat, a very well-respected member here on the Hill. He helps run and organize this club. But the students do everything. Like they help publish, they peer edit, right? As if I go back to one of our morning meetings, it was introduced that you guys peer edit and look at each other's work, correct?
Right. We have a mass of about 20 students right now. So we have 20 kids that work and edit the poems and other short fiction.
All right, that sounds good. So, yeah, again, as we have Mr. Shabbat actually behind us with our club. So, Mr. Shabbat, so would you like to say a few words about your club? It seems to be a pretty well...
My club, yeah. It's our club, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Juxtapose, we started that. Oh my gosh, actually Juxtapose has been around for at least 20 or 30 years. Kents Hill Schools had a publication like this since pretty much its inception in the early 1800s. Yeah, and right now this is just a student-run publication looking for submissions for poetry. So Norris, you got to dust off some poetry, right? Submit some work, short stories, essays, visual art, pretty much anything that we can put together to celebrate what our students do. So submissions are open until May 6th. I'm sure they told you. And you can submit directly to juxtapose@kentsill.org. And if you got any questions, we have a whole group of our, what we call the Juxtaposers, right? Our masthead who can answer questions, but of course I can answer questions too. So, yeah, that's about it.
All right, sounds good, Mr. Shabbat. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, great job. Great job.
Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Nora, and thank you, Sarah. Juxtapose Club, everybody, that's what they do, that's their work. Again, if anyone would like to publish any literature here on the Hill, then this is the club to do it. So thank you. All right, so for our second exhibit, I'm here with Shreyas Mole, Gavin Saucer, and Austin Weiss, three students here. And what are you guys doing here?
So what we've been doing for the last few weeks is the sinusoidal models in our pre-calculus class. So essentially, like sometimes you'll be in math class, you'll be wondering, how do we relate this to the real world? So what we've been having is real-life situations in our math equations, and we put that into number form, and we put that into our calculator. So in the calculator, we'll end up with graphs, something similar to that. And with evaluation, you can kind of pick up the highs, the lows, and kind of the mean of the typical situation. So here, like we were dealing with weather, so here you can figure out the highs and the kind of the highest days for temperature in the year. So it's pretty fun to do in math, but probably the most realistic to everyday life, you know. So that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, it sounds good, especially because many students do question what the relevance of math is to real life. And to connect to something like weather is pretty important, especially as we do live here in a pretty weather-oriented setting on the Hill. So, yeah, so what class is this again?
Honors Pre-Calc. So we've all been working on this for the last few days. We've been putting in that time in flex blocks and stuff, but we kind of just came up with this poster here. Austin and Stray worked really hard on this poster. I helped where I could, but it's definitely my partners really helped here. They're very, very intelligent guys.
Yeah, that sounds good. You know, what was it, honors pre-calc?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, honors pre-calc, pretty good class. A good one if anyone's ever interested in mathematics. You know, anything else to say?
I just want to say, like, you don't have to graph them on a calculator. You could also use there's also some like formulas you could use and like some things in math that they'll teach you in honors pre-calc that you can graph them on paper without even using a calculator. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty good, you know, especially because you'll be using this probably in college, probably maybe for the rest of your life, depending on what field you go to. So pretty good work by you three.
Thank you. Thank you, Norris. Thank you, Norris. Have a good day.
And that'll do it for our second exhibit. We'll be back for more interviews. Thank you. Pretty mint, boys. Pretty mint. Pretty mint. I saw you over here with the glasses. I see you with the turtle with the collar. All right. So for our third interview, I'm here with Antoine and Danny here, who seem to be doing something with a video screen plant. So Antoine, what class is this?
This is American literature.
American literature, and from what I've seen here on the Hill, one of the wildly popular things that they have going for American literature is that they had to find a word. They had to define a word using a video to describe that, and so and it was also entered as a finalist into the New York Times Vocabulary Video Contest publication, which is a great honor for people of our age. So tell us a little bit more about the contest.
So we had to make a video of 15 seconds about a vocab word from the book Eat and From. And basically we choose from like 10 words and we made a video, and basically it's a description of the word in the video. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it sounds good here. As we'll just let one of them roll. This is of Noah Katz, which got a lot of fanfare when it was showed during morning meeting. So, you know, and Danny, your video is rolling. What can you tell us about your video?
It's staggering. It means like living extremely pleasing, satisfying one's luxurious desires. So I got a lot of food on my bed and a fancy light, you know, implying that I'm living in a really fancy environment and stuff with a lot of desires that's satisfied. Yeah, it sounds really good. As this is a really good way in American literature to expand people's vocabulary as well as everyone's vernacular. So, you know, very good work by these students and very good work by everybody involved in the program and in the class. So thank you, dude. Robotics? Yeah. Oh, do you want to get interviewed about it? Sure. I mean, I have to get Carson. All right, put us on. All right, I am here with Carson Palmer with the robotics class. And Carson, tell us a little bit what you have going here. Looks like a pretty interesting setup.
So this robot essentially tracks the cans and then it goes and knocks them over. I built this from an Arduino board and I coded it all myself, so pretty proud.
Yeah, looks like a pretty cool invention here. Do you mind letting it go here?
So as you can see, it goes around in a circle, and the bolt fell out. It goes around in a circle until it sees the can, and then it knocks the can over.
It's pretty interesting. Now, I want to pose a question regarding this. How long did it take you, and did you use all of your own parts? Because you said you did do the circuit board there. You said, and I'm just curious as to like what was your like driving motivation for this?
So we had these kits in class, and it essentially came with the circuit board and the wires and everything like that. So I kind of put it together, and I wired it all up. And it only took me about a class period to do. Well, it wasn't that difficult, but I'm still pretty proud of it. And yeah.
Yeah, and as you should be, as this is something that's very cool, and I definitely think that with a little more innovation and a little more building up, this could be something that could be used in real life in terms of demolition, at least, as it could be autonomous demolition that could save money. So I definitely like I definitely like this, and I definitely like the potential this brings, especially to the robotics program here at this school, and especially just towards the engineering breakthrough of robotics. So thank you, Carson, for your time. This is pretty cool.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You too, Cars. It's all right. More interviews coming up. Thank you. All right, so I am here with Jackson Melendi, Matthew Welton, and Alana Batchelder, and it appears that they are here with advanced Spanish. So what do you guys have going here? You got a lot of tech going on, a lot of headphones. What do you guys got going on?
So we actually created a day in the life of Ken Sill for admissions, and it's actually all in Spanish for prospective students that speak Spanish and want to learn more about the Hill. So yeah.
Sounds very good, especially with a lot of people coming here next year. You know, a lot of bilingual people who do speak Spanish. So to see a video in Spanish must be pretty good and inspiring to know that people who speak their native language. So, you know, the video is all in Spanish. Will this video be available for public viewing? Because I think I want to see it.
I think at some point it will be out for public viewing, yeah.
All right, that sounds really good. But we have it on multiple different screens here, as we can see on laptops. We got a monitor. Looks like another foldable computer. That was a tablet. And yeah, I believe there's headphones here if you want to listen to it. Sounds pretty good. So yeah, anything else on this? It just looks really good here.
Thank you. That's all we got for you today.
All right, I want to thank you three for your time. All right, we'll be back for more interviews. All right, so I am here with Charlotte Precourt and Cordell Pern, and it appears that you guys are with Maine Model UN, correct?
Correct.
So we see a lot of a lot of plaques and docs here on this table. So what can you tell us about what you guys are doing here at Maine Model UN?
So I'll answer the plaques question first. These are different awards we've won in the past, and now if you win an award, you get a flag. And so basically what we do is we learn about how the United Nations works. Then we practice our debate procedure, and then about mid-March during break, we find out what country we represent. And then we research everything we can about our country and committee, and then go represent them in a 3-day conference.
Sounds really good. Model UN is a big part of... Stand by.
Interpersonal communication skills. And so anyone who wants to see a lifetime Kent Sill English class department's discussion should go up right now. We'll have a little group right here, and then you can all walk over together. So anyone interested in that, come to the front. Thank you. Come to the front. Thank you.
All right, that was Naima O'Rourke informing of an English exhibition.
Corey has to go present that. Corey has to go and represent that and lead people, so I will be doing the rest of this.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good. That's pretty interesting. So, as Maine Model UN is a big part of our club culture here in Kent Sill. It's a big club. A lot of people are in it, and it's sort of an honor to be in it. Correct?
I would see it that way. I see it as both an honor to be able to represent countries, but I also see it as a very fun and vibrant opportunity because it's filled with energy. You go down for 3 days and you get to talk with people all over New England in order to represent your country.
That sounds great, especially because it's good to have a lot of new knowledge on different countries you may have not have thought of in the world. And I believe that Model UN is, in my opinion, one of the best clubs here at Kent Sill. So, yeah, that will do it with our interview. Thank you, Charlotte. We'll have more interviews coming up. Thank you. Thanks, Charlotte. All right, I am here with Rosalie Klinger, who was representing some sort of math class. So, tell us what class are you representing, Rosalie?
This is pre-calc. Right now, we're doing trigonometry. So, what we did is we got into pairs and built this. This is a hypsometer, and we walked around campus and measured like the angle of different things. For example, if I would choose this black thing over there, I would look through the straw, find it, and the other person would measure the angle. Then we measured with our feet the distance to it and build a triangle. And with that we could calculate with the sign the height of the object we chose. So we went around campus, chose different buildings, for example, like the flagpole, and measured the height of it.
Yeah, trigonometry being a big part of the math program here. So you see some beautiful diagrams and some beautiful visual aid with the protractors. I really like what you have going here, Rosalie. What could you say about this helping our math classes? Like, what have you learned new from this?
I think it's so fun to see that you don't have to need anything other form of measurement and can just take it with an angle, walk around and measure it. And it was just fun to get out of class and just really see it and not just sit in a classroom writing it on a paper.
That sounds absolutely great. As again, another big part of Kent Hill is that we do interact with our students outside the classroom, so that there's a lot more hands-on learning, especially in this case, as it does seem pretty fun to go around campus just measuring things. It's good because it's an educational way. So really interesting stuff here, Rosalie. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, more interviews coming up after this. Thank you. All right, and I am here with Nicola Cajo. Hello, Nicole.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing good. So what class are you part of?
I am part of Advanced Placement United States History.
All right, sounds good. AP History. So I have a beautiful presentation here, which I was just standing by and listening to. You have a lot of documents here on the table. What is this whole presentation about?
So this presentation, we're basically talking about how policies in this country, how it's connected to, the people in this country. How do we move forward? What's the growth it brings in this country? So what I'm doing specifically, a topic was given to me, and the topic that was given to me was the civil rights movement. How did it foster political change in this country? So that's basically what this presentation is about.
Good. So the civil rights movement, it's a very important topic, obviously, in history. And I know in AP history, it's probably a bigger topic to be talked about. As here on the Hill, we are all about spreading diversity and equity and belonging, and to get to know the stories of black people in this country and of many other oppressed groups throughout the civil rights era is obviously important. So can you just take us through the slideshow really quickly?
Sure. So we have the life after the Second World War. By the 1960s, the United States was on the verge of a major social change. The period after the Second World War, it brought change for people of different ethnic backgrounds, African Americans, Native Americans, the offspring of the new immigration, and Latinos. It set the stage for new culture, and it challenged societal norms that were set by older, more conservative generations. So we have the starting of the civil rights movement. Everyone knows that it started in the 1960s, and it was big on nonviolent peaceful protests. This included sit-ins, and like the one in this picture, this is in Greensboro, North Carolina. Basically, the basis of the story was that segregation was really big in the Deep South, and these 4 men were refused service at the counter because of the color of their skin. So although they didn't receive service at the time, it brought attention to the issues in this country and how to combat that. Then we have notable figures. Everyone knows MLK. He was big on civil rights. He was that guy. Not a lot of people know about Claudette Colvin. Claudette Colvin was the first person to sit on a black bus, refusing to give up to her seat in the white woman before Rosa Parks did. We all know Rosa Parks. Fair skin, easy to deal with. That's what they wanted in the civil rights movement. But she was 15, she was dark-skinned, she was pregnant at the time of the arrest. So although the civil rights movement stood on good things, there were still flaws in that movement. But we do have positive impacts of the civil rights movement. We have the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination in public accommodations. The Voting Rights Act of 1965, so it allowed black people to vote where they were previously, prevented from doing so. And in 1966, over 1 million African Americans were registered in the Deep South. But unfortunately, there was still backlash in response to this movement. We all know about JFK. What people don't know is that JFK was an avid supporter of the civil rights movement, but he was also the president of the country of the time. And what does that come with? Conflicting views. People in the South didn't believe that black people or people of all minorities shouldn't get equal rights in this country. And because of that, 2 conflicting views, he was assassinated in 1963. The picture in that presentation, that was actually taken a couple minutes before the tragic event happened. Then we have the rise of the Black Power ideologies, which popularized the slogan, it should be achieved by whatever means necessary. We have Malcolm X and MLK in that picture. MLK was the big peaceful protest guy. Malcolm X believed it should be achieved by whatever means necessary. So unfortunately, Malcolm X gets the bad rep. But what people don't understand is that they stood for the same issues. Their methods were about going about it were different, but they ultimately stood for the same issues. Hold on. So in the aftermath, right? In the spring of 1968, MLK was assassinated. Several months later, the brother of JFK, Senator Robert Kennedy, he also met the same fate. But as tragic as it may seem, it brought attention to the end of the era of innocence. Black, ethnic culture, it's interwoven into American society. Native American culture, women's culture, it's all connected in today's society. You cannot address change, we cannot move forward until we address some of the issues in today's country. The arguments of the 1970s, it started the conversation of racial balance in schools and the introduction of affirmative action. And it ultimately resulted in demographics changing. But the presidents, not all presidents are good presidents. So we have the presidencies of Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon. We were going in the right direction, but people don't know that his policies, the war on crime, was the war on black people, unfortunately. So this country has the potential to move in the right direction. It's just, we have to work on better ways of doing that. Then we have intersectionality and ties to the women's movement. What is intersectionality, you may ask? It's understanding how a person's social and political identities combine to create different modes of discrimination and privilege. For example, I identify as a woman and a person of color. Two major setbacks in this country, but I know that I'm moving in the right direction because I have the privilege to educate people on what's going on in this country, And this ultimately led to the spark setting the pathway to the women's movement. Seeing the success of the civil rights movement, a lot of people believe that women could achieve equal rights too. But as important as women's rights are, there was also flaws in that movement. It only focused on change for white young women, middle-class women. It focused on the middle class and youth. We can't move forward in this country until we realize how our actions impact each other. You can't cater to one specific group and not pay attention to other nationalities. So I'm just asking, what impact does this have on women on other races? Women whose national identities, whose changes, women like me who identify as a person of color. What does this mean for people of other races? Everything is connected in this country, and I'm really glad that I got the chance to explain in my presentation how I did that. So I'll leave you with that question, but thanks for listening.
Thank you, Nicole. A very good presentation, and a one that allows people to learn about the people of color in this country. And as a man who does identify as a person of color, I believe this is important to learn about and highlights the many strengths of our history program here at Kents Hill and allowing people to be educated on different eras of history and how the past connects to today's history. So thank you, Nicole. Very beautiful presentation. And that, I believe, will do it for our interviews today. Thank you.
Just a high five for that one. Get yourself a high five.
That's what they need to be teaching. I know about that. You know about that. You there?